from two in a garage into $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. That is miracle. Se start करथिले year 20 रे a unit 2 invitation to relating to stay hungry and stay foolish. We worked hard and in 10 years Apple had grown from just the two of us, ଦୁଇ ଜଣ coordinatingly ତାଙ୍କର ସେଇ in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We had just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I had just turned 30, and then I got fired. Actually, students, when we are getting employment, that is sure. Still, then when our friendship is cancelling itself, it is considered to be a fire. How can you get fired from a company you started? Joint endeavor start करथिले, ताल जेतबेले सबसे skip करिवे, it is very hard to realize. Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. Thereafter, I searched for a personality who will help me a lot for the development of the company. And for the first year or so, things went well. प्रथम वर्ष भलो हमर कंपनी रे कोऑर्डिनेशन चलेला. But then our visions of the future began to diverge and eventually we had a falling out. Fallout means quarrel. Fallout means quarrel. So certain disturbance arised away. Certain disturbance aroused out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. So at 30, I was out. So to move on, so far as the company is concerned, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. That means relating to familiar disturbance, relating to conjugal relationship, everything was coming to a full stop. I really did not know what to do for a few months. ଯେତେବେଳେ debacle ଆସିଲା, disturbance ଆସିଲା, company ର devastation ଆସିଲା, he was in a flux. ସେ କଣ କରିବେ decide କରିପାରିଲେ ନାହିଁ students. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, that I had dropped the button as it was being passed to me. ତେଣୁ previous year ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କଣ କରିବି, generate କରିବି, ଯୋଉଟା କି ସେମାନେ realize କରିବେ what the actually entrepreneurs are thinking about and what the innovation technology is getting to be rectified itself. I met with David Packard and Job Norris and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. मोर जो failure टा दिला से failure ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ନିଜକୁ ନିଜେ କଣ କଲି ନା forgiveness ଚାହିଁଲି କୋ ମନ ପାଖରୁ through proper coordination. I was a very public failure and even thought about running away from the valley. ଏବଂ ମୁଁ ଚାହିଁଲି I wanted my best to take my chance, take my religion. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, but I was performing. I had a certain type of attachment to do the same. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I had been rejected, but I was still in love, and so I decided to start over. That means the thinking process is well apologized, and the thinking process is well presumed when certain attachment or think coordination is taken into consideration. I did not see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ମୋର କଣ କଲି ଗୋଟେ कंपनी ରେ रिज्यूम କରି स्टार्ट कली छाडी नेली तापरे कोन कले मु देखिली मु जो आउ गोटे कंपनी पई किछि मोर थिंकिंग प्रोसेस आसिला इट वाज बेटर yielding or better result providing. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Less sure about everything. It is a बहुत बड़ा fine quote. ये लाइन टा मन रख. The heaviness of being successful. तमे जेतबे बहुत किछि प्रॉमिस नियो, कमिटमेंट नियो जे हमें सक्सेसफुल हबो, was replaced by the lightness of being beginner again. जे प्रकृति स्टार्टिंग करथुबो बिगिनर मानकर इनिशिएटिव टिके भल लागे. Less sure about everything, किंतु सियोरिटी किछि न थाए. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next. Another company, Pixar. These are the companies, students, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. That is the procedure of a life, students. Everything can happen. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next. Another company named Pixar, and I fell in love with an emerging woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer animated feature film. Relating to feature film, students, it was well highlighting and it was also obliquely world famous. Toy Story and is now the most successful animation studio in the world #1 animation studio. Actually, students, in a remarkable turn of events, Apple got Next and I returned to Apple. And the technology developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current Renaissance. What is the meaning of Renaissance? Renaissance means rebirth. तमे गोटे जॉब रे थिलो गोटे पोजीशन रे थिलो गोटे कंपनी रे थिलो सेट लीव कर दिए थिलो छाड़ी देथिलो पूर्ण से कंपनी जेते बळे आउट रे फेरिलो इट वुड बी समथिंग मिरेकल और समथिंग एडवांटेजेस फॉर यू सो and Lawrence and I have a wonderful family together. Seith pai pile English रे गोटे कोटेशन अछि for a successful man there is the support of at least one woman. तेनु that fellow must be coordinator जे जो फील्ड रे अछि सेही फील्ड रे जदि से एक्सपोनेंट अछि ताले मैक्सिमम जगह देखिबा हमें सक्सेसिव ए जो रहउछ हमरा विशेष करी सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी जेतबे कपल माने तांकर सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस चली छी एक्चुअली बोथ कलेक्ट करंदी आम भली केमिति गोटे टैलेंटेड जेनियस पर्सनालिटी हेतिबो मे बी मेल मे बी so I am pretty sure none of this would have happened if I had not been fired from Apple. यदि मो Apple रो फायर्ड ही न जाई थांदी this could not have happened. It was Apple testing medicine. But I guess the question is it. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. One of the quotation. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. That means don't abandon to despair. You must have to maintain consistency. So, students, sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I am convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. If you have the persuasion, if you have the commitment, then everything can be successful through long endeavor. You have got to find what you love, and that is as true for your work as it is for your lovers. That means both are coordinately working for the successful of this sector. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is of a great. Students, you must have certain type of a vision. If your vision is true, then your lifeline achievement may come to be successful. तमे प्रेडिक्ट करबा दरकार फ्यूचर जनरेशन को भलिया प्रकार गोटे टॉपिक के ऊपर बेस करूथिबे एटलीस्ट आमे जदी देखिबा वर्तमान देयर इज डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ऑटोमेशन इन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी किछि दिन परे फैन लाइट एगुडा को सब रिमोट रे भी फंक्शन करिवे दैट इज नथिंग बट एडवांटेजेस आसी गलानी मार्केट को माने आमे कहू जेठी हमर हेनी ऑपरेटिंग किंतु मैक्सिमम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एरिया रे एडवांस आसी गलानी सो स्टूडेंट्स साइंस इज गेटिंग टू बी साइंटिफिकफाइड बाय द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ साइंटिफिक नॉलेज सो and the only way to do great work is to love what you do. That means you must have certain type of attachment. What is the pleasure you are getting? If you are not found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. That means you must have to maintain consistency to achieve your goal. As with all matters of the heart, you will know where you find it. That means if a consistency of a labor is there, if a single-minded devotion is there, you must have to fill up the gap and everything will be successful for you. And like any great relationship, it is just gets better and better as years roll on. So keep looking until you find it, don't settle. Unless and until you have the preservation relating to the completion of the topic, you must have certain type of accentuation relating to the continuity of the programming action. जेपन तो तुम जे कौन सी टॉपिक के पढ़ू जो एग्जांपल तो कहि जे फिजिक्स पढ़ू जे केमिस्ट्री पढ़ू हलानी तमे तो रेगुलरली अगेन एंड अगेन रिपीटेडली कर देखिबो इट वुड बी बेटर आइडिंग यदि सेटा थरे हेई गला पिले आ जीवन में हमें केबे भूलिबानी आ गोटे टॉपिक टा पढ़ू जे किछि प्रॉब्लम हला स्किप करी आ गोटे टॉपिक के पढैबा तार के नेगेटिव परसेप्शन रहइबो गोटे प्रॉब्लम को जेतेबेले सॉल्व करूछ तादरे टिके मेंटेन करो टाइम टिके कंट्रीब्यूट करो अवश्य आमे जदी वर्तमान देखिबा सेकंड ईयर पिला मन पे विशेष समय नाही स्टिल देन इट नीड्स ग्रुप टीचिंग ग्रुप रे कार फिजिक्स भलो होची से गोटा प्रॉब्लम कहि दला जरा केमिस्ट्री भलो होची से गोटा हमर So students, my third story is about death. Listen students. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, if you live each day as if it was your last, someday you will most certainly be right. ଯେତେବେଳେ ତମେ ଏଣ୍ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସ ଏକ୍ସାମିନେସନ ପାଇଁ ଆ ପରେ ଏଣ୍ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସ ଏକ୍ସାମିନେସନ ଦବ ତମେ କନସିଡର କର ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ ମାଇ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଆଟେମ୍ପ୍ଟ ଅଧିକାଂଶ ପିଲା କଣ ଭାବନ୍ତି ହଁ ଏ ଏକ୍ସାମ ନ ହଉ ଆର ବର୍ଷକୁ ଦବା ତାର ବର୍ଷକୁ ଦବା ବହୁତ ପିଲା କଣ କରନ୍ତି ଡିଲେ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତି +3 ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କଥା ଭୁଲି ଦିଅନ୍ତି ଡ୍ରପ୍ ହେଇଯାଏ ସେ କ୍ୟାରିୟରଟା ଆଉ ବହୁଟା ଏଇଟା ମଧ୍ୟ ବହୁତ ସମୟରେ କଣ କରେ ହାରାସମେଣ୍ଟ କ୍ରିଏଟ କରେ ତେଣୁ ପିଲେ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିବା ଇଟ୍ ୱାଜ ଦ ଆଡଭାଇଜ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଦ ଆଡଭାଇଜ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଇଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ଦ ଆଡଭାଇଜ if you live each day as if it is your last, that means your focus must be attacking, your focus must be attractive, your focus may be reputation directed, somebody will most certainly be right. प्रत्येक स्टेज रे तुम निश्चित रूप से कौन हो श्योर हो जे I am true to my job or work. It made an impression on me and since then for the last 33 years I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself ମୁଁ ମିରର ପାଖରେ ଛିଡା ହୁଏ କାରଣ ତମେ ଜାଣିଥିବ ମଡର୍ନ ଏଜ ରେ ଯଦି କୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ ପରଫେକ୍ଟ ରିଫ୍ଲେକ୍ସନ ହଉଛି ସେଟା ହଉଛି କଣ ମିରର ମିରର ଆମକୁ କିଛି ଡୁପ୍ଲିକେଟ କଥା କହିବ ଯାହା କହିବ ଅନେଷ୍ଟଲି ଫ୍ରାଙ୍କ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଫ୍ରି କଥା କହିବ ସୋ it made an impression on me and since then for the past 33 years I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself if today were the last day of my life ମୋ ଜୀବନଟା କଣ ଆଜି ହଉଛି କି ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଡେ ବା ଅନ୍ତିମ ଦିନ then would I want to do what I am about to do today? ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟା ଆଜି କରୁଛି ସେଟା କଣ ଆଗରୁ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲି କି ପରଫର୍ମ କରିବା ପାଇଁ if and whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row I know I need change something else. Actually students ଯେତେବେଳେ ତମେ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିବ ସେତେବେଳେ ଯୋଉ କାମଟା କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ କରିବା କଥା ତାକୁ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ କଲା ପରେ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜି ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିବା ଦରକାର ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଇଂଲିଶରେ ଗୋଟେ କୋଟେସନ ଅଛି A rolling stone gathers no moss. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Example होउची गोटे पानी धार जाउची से पानी रे गोटे पत्थरटा पकई दियो सेठी मोस बा सिउडी हटाते लागिबनी काहेकि लागिबनी यदि बारंबार हम टेकिली ए जगह से पकौथिबा एटा बहुत किछ हारासमेंट क्रिएट करे आ बहुत पिला माने भी कोन करंती पिला तुम जानिथिबो जेतेबेले +2 सेकंड ईयर साइंस रे रेगुलरली बा इंटरवली अनसक्सेसफुल हेले बहुत पिला कोन करते ट्रैक चेंज कर दे किए डिप्लोमा लाइन पढ़े किए कौन कर आर्ट्स लाइन की पढ़े पुणी 2 वर्ष पढ़ी पाठ दिखती किंतु सेटा एते भलो कंज्यूमेंट बा रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड हुए जो टॉपिक हमें पढुचे जो सब्जेक्ट पढुचे जो चैप्टर पढुचे हमें टिके थोरोली इंक्लिनेशन रहबा दरकार सो remembering that I will be dead soon in the most important tool I have ever encountered to help me make the big choices in my life. Because almost everything, all the external expectation, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is true important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no need to follow your heart. Listen, students. And another thing ଅଛି ସବୁଠାରୁ କୋ ଡିଜିଜ ହେଉଛି ଡେଞ୍ଜର ତେଣୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଜଣକୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ସର ହେଇଗଲା କିନ୍ତୁ ଜଣଙ୍କର କିଛି ପ୍ରେଡିକାମେଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି ମୋ ଜୀବନ କାଳ ଭିତରେ ଏଇଟାକୁ ମୁଁ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ କରିକିରି ସ୍ୱର୍ଗପୁରକୁ ଯିବି ଯଦି ସେତିକିଟାକୁ କଣ ହେଲା ମଝିରେ ଅବଷ୍ଟାକଲ ଆସିଯିବ ତାହେଲେ ଗୋଟେ ଅନଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟେଡ ରିଜଲ୍ଟ ଆସିବନି କି ବହୁତ ପିଲା ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କର କିଛି କିଛି ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟେସନ ହୁଏ ଏଇ ରେଭେନ୍ସା କଲେଜର ଗୋଟେ ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ସାଇନ୍ସ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ 2 वर्ष तलर बहुत बढ़िया स्कोरिंग करछे तो क्रिकेट क्रिकेट बॉल बोले नो रहउची ना नहीं एक्सपेक्टेशन रही ताहले जो माने को किछ सेल्फ आफ्टर a year ago I was diagnosed with cancer. Hey, I had scan at 7:30 in the morning. and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I did not even know what a pancreas was. जेतबे डायग्नोस करा जाए डॉक्टर माने विभिन्न प्रकार प्रेडिक्शन दियंती विभिन्न प्रकार असम्पशन दियंती आउ तुमे भी जानि थिबो पर्टिकुलरली जेतबेले कैंसर एई गला इट इज सो सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ एक्चुअली a tumor on a pancreas. I did not even know what a pancreas was. The doctor told me that this was almost certainly a type of a cancer that is incurable. Actually, students, when there is the result or consequences of a cancer is available within anybody's hygienic condition, actually moral degradation is there. बहुत लोग माने morally कौन है ना degraded हो जाते. So the doctors told me this was almost certainly a type of cancer and that is incurable. And I should expect to no longer than 3 to 6 months. मास पर्यंत मु बसी बेले मोर कोन लागडा माय अफेयर्स इन ऑर्डर जो काम करू छ ताकू कोन कर प्रॉपर वे रे परफॉर्मेंस करो आ 3 रु 4 मास तुमर लाइफ which is a doctor's code for preparation to prepare to die मरिबा पूर्व एतिकटा परफॉर्म कर. It means to try to tell your you thought you have the next 10 years to tell them in just a few months. तमे 10 वर्ष पाई 10 वर्ष पूर्व जो तमर किड्स मान को कमिटमेंट करिछ प्रॉमिस करिछ कंप्लीट करबा पई ए शॉर्ट स्पैन भीतर से गुडा तो कंप्लीट करिया पई चेष्टा करो because you would be available no more. It means to make sure everything is but up so that it will be as easy as possible for your family. It means to say your goodbyes. Goodbye कहि करी जिबा पूर्व फैमिली मेंबर माने तुम पई जेति के assured रहिछि टास्क that task ought to be completed before the time permission. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy where they stuck an endoscope with down my throat through my stomach and into my intestines, put a needle into my pancreas and got a few cells from the tumor. Actually, it is relating to practical experimentation, how biopsy can take into consideration, what is the procedure. I was sedated. My wife, who was there, told me that when they viewed the cells under a microscope, the doctor started crying because it turned out to be a very rare form of a pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. केते कहले जे प्रकृति रे डॉक्टर माने ई जो पैंक्रियास हेछि कैंसर it can be curable if a proper surgery is taken into account. I had the surgery and I am now. Surgery पर मु वर्तमान it is the luckiest thing. And I hope it will just for a few more decades. So my expectation is to complete something for the future generation, for the whole world to be taken into prediction. Having lived through it, I can now say this is to you with a bit more certainly when a death was a useful but a purely intellectual concept. यदि आमर टाइम टेबल न बाहरिबो एग्जाम रो बोर्ड रो ताले 2 वर्ष 3 वर्ष पाठ पढले 4 वर्ष कोर्स कंप्लीट होबो तुमको गोटे टाइम लेट मिल गला एतिक दिन भीतर जो कामटा कंप्लीट करिया कथा कंप्लीट करो इट वुड बी ऑब्लिगेटरी टू ऑलमोस्ट ऑल तमे ताले कंप्लीट करि परिबो जेते बेले देखो गोटे टास्क रहिला इंटेलेक्चुअल कांसेप्ट द होल कम्युनिटी पई हमें किछ सैक्रिफाइस करिबा डेडिकेट करिबा सेते बेले कोन करिवे प्रत्येक साइंटिस्ट माने किछ ना किछ एग्जाम्पशन दियंती. No to die. Even people want to go to heaven, don't want to die to go there, get there. And yet, there is the destination we all share. आम जीवन में मृत्यु निश्चित रूप अच्छी जन्म जोटे जे मृत्यु अच्छी. No one has ever escaped it. आपको कई दूरे रही पारे नांदे. And that as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. आम लाइफ रे जते इन्वेंशन अच्छी सबठारु डेथ होती बेस्ट वन बिकॉज़ इट इज श्योर टू कम जोटी लाइफ अच्छी माने तार प्रिडिक्शन डेथ श्योर टू कम एंड अनअवॉइडेबल. इट इज लाइफ चेंज एजेंट. इट क्लियर्स आउट द ओल्ड टू मेक अ वे फॉर द न्यू. राइट नाउ द न्यू इज यू बट समबody to come from you will gradually become the old and can be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic but it's quite true. Actually students, necessity is the mother of invention. जेते बेले देखा पिले तमे माने जेते बेले न्यू जनरेशन अच्छा किछ ना किछ न्यू कांसेप्ट दबो न्यू आइडिया दबो जो आइडिया को बेस करी सबलाइम रहइबो कोन कि होल सोसाइटी दैट इज द prediction that is the assumption of step your time is limited तम पाखे जो समय अछि सेटा limited time it is actually recycling itself so don't waste it living someone else's life don't be trapped by dogma which is living is the result of others people thinkings don't let the noise of others opinions drown out of your own inner voice and most important have the courage to follow your heart and intuition they somehow already know what you truly want to become everything else is second try to understand students time is money time is considered time is to be evaluated according to proper management process proper management process रे time टा कोन करा जाय ना continuously recounseling करा जाय तल आमे देखिबा जेतेबेला आमे proper way रे time टा को management न करू it harasses our life it harasses our presumption it harasses our social order for the existing society so when we consider that we must have to perform any task it may be primary still then task ought to be secondary. What is the reason here, students? When you are getting success, success doesn't depend on one coaching center. I have told you earlier. If you want to be successful personality, there are different scientific coaching centers, and you must have to contact with them. You must have to contact with the teachers. You must have to contact with the senior most students, those who have achieved their achievement, and through what process they have gained the recycling agent. तमे जदि तमे जीवन काल भितर गोटे सक्सेसफुल हो चाहिबो ताले किछि कंपटीशन आसीबो किछि तमको हरासमेंट होबो पड़िबो किछि डिस्करेजमेंट आसीबो किछि पेन आसीबो लास्ट में जाय प्लेजर आसीबो तो हम जो टाइम स्पैन भितर हमें केमिति कोन सटल करिबा प्रॉपर्ली मैनेजमेंट करिबा नथिंग बट इन लीडिंग डायलॉग रिलेटिंग टू द परसुएशन और प्रॉमिसिंग रिस्टार्टिंग so students everything else is secondary in the sense actually students when we are living with our king and king when we have certain type of attachment with our family members, when we have a certain type of attachment with our coaching centers, particularly your coaching center, that becomes primary for you. But when we live to other competitive institutions or coaching centers, or any type of a teachers or any type of a students, at that time it becomes secondary. You are not solving any problem with your friends relating to learning to India. If you learn it, or if you got the answer from other coaching center, it will not harm you. So matching with others or compete with others is not worrisome. That's why IPL is there in India. When we are intermixing with other crickets, teachers, other students, at that time our knowledge is improving by rectifying our personality. So students, when I was young, there was amazing publication for whole earth, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. So it was created by a fellow named Stuart Branch, not far from here in Menlo Park, and he brought it to life with his poetic touch. This was in the late 1960s, before personal computers and desktop publishing. So it was all made with typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. It was shot like Google in paperback form. 35 years before Google came along, it was idealistic and overflowing with tools and of the grandfather is considered to be a mistake for the father. And the prediction of the father is considered to be a mistake for the son. So my point is concerned, we have certain type of a generation gap. Always the students deny the teachers in the sense of a knowledge. You must be knowing about any theory, any presumption was started by a great thinker or a philosopher. After certain years, it is getting to be rectified by the PhD holders. So when you return to any task relating to one of the publication, the whole earth catalog, what the earth predicts about what type of assumption we are getting through. कि पृथ्वी पे हमें कौन करिबु एवं पृथ्वी रो कैटलॉग कौन रहइबा दरकार for the generation to come. That is nothing but the prediction. So students, Stewart and his team put out several issues, the whole earth catalog, and then when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. Separate predictions were there. तमे वर्तमान एटी प्लस 2 लेवल रे पाठ पढुछ जदि मु कहबी एतिके जांक पिला समस्त कोन करिवो फिजिक्स रे पीएचडी करिवो ताले गोटा किछि नुवा रिज्यूमिंग आसीबो नै श्योर आसीबो तेणु जितेबाला कौन सी टॉपिक आम पढ़ुचे फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथमेटिक्स बायोलॉजी ओडिया संस्कृत इंग्लिश जोटा ठीक है होल हार्टेडली पढ़िया को पड़िबो have certain attachment to the subject have certain type of a likeliness to the subject have certain love to the subject by which we can generate something genuine for the generations to come. Stewart and his team put out several issues of the Earth catalog, and then when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. You must be knowing about students, hard labor can never be unrewarded. यदि कठिन परिश्रम आमे करूचे ताले रिवार्ड हमको श्योर आसीबो. So it was the mid 1970s and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road. Early morning country road, something natural in heart and content, something charming in torrid sunshine, the kind you might find yourself hitching on. That means what is while traveling freely anywhere else. If you were so adventurous, actually students, positive thinking brings positive initiation. जेपर्यंत आम मन रे पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग न आसी आमे केबेले पॉजिटिव इनिशिएशन को आसी परिबानी बा रिजल्ट हमर सक्सेस आसीबनी. Beneath it were the words ये जो रही पर्टिकुलरली early morning of a countryside or village ता रिलेशन तळे कोन रही पिले गोटे वर्ड किछिटा stay hungry stay foolish. You must have the inclination तम मन रे किछि जेमति भोक हेला माने हम खोजि बोलु को जिंस खाइबु सेमति तम मानक भितरे सेमति गोटे फ्रूट ऑफ सक्सेस आसीबा दरकार जोटा तमे कोन करबो ना प्रिजम्पशन को आनिबो आउ कोन स्टे फुलिश तमे सब बेल टिके निजु को इग्नोरेंट बेली भाबिया को पड़िबो निजु को कोन करबो तमको टिके लोएस्ट फॉर्मेट रे रहिया को पड़िबो तमे केबे कहबन जे हमें सब जिंस गुडा जानि छु हमको सब गुडा का आसीबो ये भली प्रिजम्पशन ताले तमे कोन करबो तमर हायर लेवल लोकन साथ मिसि परिबो नाही. प्रथम तो तम मन रे गोटे क्षुधा रहिबा दरकार जे मु को पाठटा को ग्राफ्स करिवि को पाठटा को प्रकृत रे रिज्यूम करिवि. सेकंड थिंग तमे जदी कंपैरेटिवली निजु को निज पोस्ट अप कल देखै हेला जे पाठटा मो दर हेइ जिवो then and there nobody will advise you and nobody will take your pictures. It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry stay foolish. And I have always wished that for myself and now as you graduate to begin a new I wish that for you. प्रकृत रे पिले जे तुमे ग्रेजुएट लेवल रो छ you must have to enforce your ideas for a new beginning that will bring certain type of a renaissance or reformation so far as your knowledge is concerned. Stay hungry stay foolish. Thank you all very much. That was a deliberative speech. पहले इनविटेशन 4 बुक आनी छ आनी ना 4 बुक ता आनीबो 3 एगुडा रेगुलरली आनो एटी रूल गुडा पढला परे इनविटेशन 4 बुक ता सारी गके मते कहउतलो इनविटेशन 4 पढैया नै ये एडिशन के आनी चाहिए so hey lekila bile direct and indirect reported speech lekha bile Because he said, I am hungry. He said, I am hungry. Second, the teacher says, the earth moves around the sun. The earth moves around the sun. Earth moves around the sun. Inverted with the rahiba. The earth moves around the sun. Next, students, the captain. The earth moves around the sun. The captain said to the soldiers. The captain said to the soldiers, the captain said to the soldiers, inverted with lekha, march on. March on. Mother said to me, mother said to me, mother said to me, don't waste time. Don't waste time. The beggar said, the beggar said, the beggar said, said, give me a coin, please. The beggar said, give me a coin, please. He said, she said, inverted with let's play cricket. Let's play cricket. He said to me, you had better leave the place. Leave the place. He said, welcome my friends. He said, welcome my friends. My grandmother said, ইনভার্টেড লেখা, may you live long, may you live